correct, the whistleblower, whom every single person in Washington believes is Eric Ciaramella. Ciaramella is a CIA analyst, and this is why he is so important to this storyline. He was on the National Security Council during the Trump administration as a Ukrainian expert. He was later kicked out of the White House for leaking information and pushing Russian collusion hoaxes. He also worked directly with the DNC operative Alexandra Chalupa, who was tasked with working alongside the Ukrainian embassy here in the U.S. to dig up dirt on Donald Trump. And if this isn't enough to discredit him as a witness, he also worked alongside Joe Biden when he was made the point man in Ukraine. But wait, there's more. It became all too painfully obvious why Adam Schiff, 5 days after our first special, said, "Oh, you know what? We don't need to talk about this guy. In fact, everybody keep his name quiet." Before, everybody needed to know this whistleblower. Let me ask you why all the State Department officials, the CIA, NSC staffers, so scared of Donald Trump poking around in Ukraine. What are they afraid of revealing? I wonder. Does it have anything to do with the financing of some of these groups, like the Soros-funded NGO? I pointed out in my mega chalkboard that the Ukrainian prosecutors claimed to have evidence that over $7 billion had been misappropriated. Is it this part? Is this part of it? Because if this is part of that missing $7 billion, that would kind of be important here, wouldn't it? It would also be relevant if the people currently involved in the impeachment were dealing with these funds that were given to groups like the Soros NGO through our State Department, through the embassy. That would be kind of important. Well, that's an answer I can't officially find, but that is an answer that Donald Trump was asking on that phone call July 25th, and it must be answered in the Senate trial. But I want to show you what we did find. This is an email chain, and it's going to be sent in social media right now. This email chain was released via a Freedom of Information Act request. The first email, starting down here, is from the alleged whistleblower, sent to all the heavyweights within the State Department that were working on Ukraine. The entire email has been redacted. All of it is gone. Whatever Ciaramella specifically said, the State Department will not release that. They do not want you to know. But the final email in the chain reveals the overall context. Obama administration dollars going through the U.S. Embassy via USAID. See, that's what the one guy, Christopher Anderson, said. Embassy Kyiv, coordinated with our U.S. aid mission folks, will have detailed input tomorrow. Why do I know the name Christopher Anderson? I know who Christopher Anderson was. That name sounds familiar because he was the guy testifying against Donald Trump at the impeachment inquiry 2 weeks ago. They're all connected, and the coup is on. But still, it begs the question, what really is going on? It can't be just about Ukraine, can it? And why? Being that U.S. funding to Soros-backed groups began in 2013, we started looking beyond our initial timeline. We noticed one name pop up again and again and again and again, and that's what cracked this for us. His name is Alec Ross. Ross was appointed to the State Department as a senior advisor on innovation to Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. He first started popping up on our radar screen in Ukraine in late 2011. I'm going to show you some things. This is Ross at the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine on a fact-finding mission where he was, quote, learning about the local status of internet freedom and discussing Secretary Clinton's 21st century statecraft agenda. Oh, I'm going to go into Clinton's 21st century agenda more in just a bit. But basically, it boils down to an observation that the Obama administration had regarding the state of the world as it was beginning to undergo these massive changes, technological changes in infrastructure, mass media and communications changes. These changes were all occurring at the same time. This could provide advantages to somebody if they were willing to take advantage. Well, you know what? I'm going to show you some videotape. Let me have Ross describe it. This is Alec Ross addressing the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine, October 2011. Watch.
And the force and effect of all three of these paradigm shifts taking place at one creates a moment of remarkably disruptive change. And for those of us that work in foreign policy, the change that I would argue is actually most significant goes to this issue: power.
Wow. Disruptive change. Some might describe this as chaos. But ultimately, for those willing to exploit it, the reward is power. Now, for most of us, no matter which side of the aisle you're on, I thought we all pretty much agree that regime change and stoking chaos is not really what the American people are into. But this is exactly what was going on under the Obama administration, and it is going on tonight. And it's all being done in your name. You